Good afternoon. And how are you today, Sarah?
I'm very well, Joanne. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, and welcome to those that are listening in. This is it may or may not be afternoon, obviously, whenever you're listening back. This is our second conversation with one of our Changing Cycles mentors. And today I'm going to chat with Sarah. And Sarah's going to tell us a little bit about herself, her interests in Changing Cycles, why she got involved, what her hopes are as a Changing Cycles mentor for next year. So, hi, Sarah. Tell us all about yourself.
Hi, Joanne, and thanks for doing this. It's a great way to introduce myself as one of your mentors and facilitators. So my name is Sarah Logan, and I am from County Tyrone in Northern Ireland. And I'm married with 3 children. I have 2 teens and 1 still in primary school. And I love everything about what Joanne has created. I am a mindfulness facilitator, and I also work with women and children, supporting them in other ways. So this fitted in ideally with what I believe in and what I chose to do. So very excited to be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it is my background also as a relaxed kids coach, and that whole space was really the vision with Changing Cycles was to help people to connect with those cycles and rhythms within them and around them. So that whole space of wellness and connection to nature, to cycles, to rhythms, to change. And more recently, we've, I suppose, refined that vision to really coming into the awareness of how important women's menstrual cycles are for them on that journey. So menstruation, menstrual well-being, was always part of the Changing Cycles vision. In fact, it was the key part of it. And we've, over the last 3 years, have really seen a broadening of those conversations and I guess more and more interest, which is fantastic to see. And that vision for a world where the cyclical nature of women is understood, respected, and integrated into everyday life. And I know, Sarah, our journey with this began long before Changing Cycles. And in fact, Sarah was one of the women part of a program I was running that was probably the catalyst for the vision of Changing Cycles. So do you want to share a wee bit about that journey, Sarah, or how that all came together for you?
Absolutely. So I did Joanne's Be Balanced program back way before the world went crazy.
Yeah, BC, as my mum calls it, before COVID. Yeah, so I think it was probably like 2017, 2018.
Yeah, and it was such an awakening for me. Like, I was in a bubble, I think, and for Joanne, like the course itself, we talked a bit about menstrual wellness, and it opened up my eyes to the point where I actually tried a moon cup, and I learned about tracking and the importance of tracking. And I have to say, it is like our compass for everything. From me learning that and having that knowledge, not always following it because we're a human living a human experience, but when I do follow it and I'm tracking and I'm knowing where I'm at in my cycle, which season I'm in, I definitely feel my life flows better. So I want to give every woman, every young girl this knowledge that, why were we not told when we were children? Like why we're not educated this? So that's the vision for me, to help awaken every woman of her own intuitive power within.
Yeah, and that was a 9-month container with the same group of women each month, and there's real power in that, Sarah, isn't there? When we're held together with different themes each month, we commit to ourselves, we commit to each other, we feel safe because these women are familiar and all of that. So that, I think it's interesting where we complete one part of the journey, and actually it's the opening of a whole new journey that is potentially never complete, because it's always an unfolding. There's always more to learn. There's always more wisdom to be gained. And it's sharing then that wisdom with everyone, because you're coming from a place of lived experience that says, this has made a difference in my life, and I now want to support and make a difference in the lives of other people.
Absolutely. So yeah, I would love to be bringing this to my local community and having them 9-month programs and sharing this with women And you're right, you know, we did have that connection, and the more that you went, you got to know the other women in the group, and you felt more connected to them and more relaxed and more, you know, vulnerable but held. So, you know, that would probably be the best way to, you know, vulnerable in the sense that, and realizing that you're not the only person going through whatever you're going through.
Yeah. I think oftentimes on the personal development journey, and I know for the early part of mine, I would have been attending different programs, different workshops, different teachers. And at the moment, we know there is so many offerings. I mean, if I wanted to be at something, I could be at something every hour of every day, which is fantastic, because I remember back when I first started running retreats, I ran them. My first one was like, well, actually, my friend was pregnant and her daughter is now just gone into second year. So that was way back in that space. And I was running them because there wasn't really anywhere else to go for a retreat. So I started hosting them myself. And yet now, you know, there are so many opportunities for that space. And that's amazing to see. And also then I have also experienced, and as part of my own journey has always been that commitment to a space, that particular teacher, that particular group. In my case, it's been a group of women, and that whole consistency and continuity that allows, exactly as you said there, the vulnerability and the sense of being held and that sense of community, because often that, I think, that can be one of the things that might be missing on a wellness journey or spiritual journey. It can be a reasonably solo path to walk, which can be really good. And yet we also do really benefit in lots of spaces from community.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there's and the 9-month journey, you know, that transformation, it's like being held in the womb again. It's that 9-month space. Mm-hmm. The seeds are sown, and then we journey through the seasons to see the ups and downs. And I remember one of the first 9-month containers that I did was, and one of the ladies saying, you know, the month that you think you perhaps don't want to show up is the month you should. You know, that month where you're too tired, where you feel like that can be the breakthrough, because sometimes it's that breakthrough that holds us back. So yeah, you know, I'm really excited to see the programs that we've delivered over the last 3 years within Changing Cycles, and the knowledge that we've gained. I mean, even the learning that we've done within each other as a mentor group. How has that experience been for you as a mentor, Sarah?
Probably life-changing, Joanne, really, because although I came to this course, you know, that I would then be able to hold space for women, deliver programs, I have learned a lot about myself. And as you say, it's that lived experience that we can support and hold others. So definitely there has been, as you say, there's definitely for me been like dark times where it's been tough even to show up and questioning myself and what, you know, but it's been a journey for me, and it's been a fantastic journey, and it hasn't been a rocky journey. It has had highs, it's had lows. I am still in the growth path. I think we're always, as we said before this, we're continuously growing, we're continuously healing, you know, and yeah, it's been a great experience for me, and I'm very excited to be able to bring it to my local community. One of the
things that Sarah mentioned in her conversation, and for anyone listening back that hasn't caught Sarah's conversation, it's available on our YouTube channel, and it will be on other platforms as well. And we mentioned about, you know, how unique and different we all are as a group of mentors. And Sarah reflected on that she kind of saw us like the seasons. There was the person who had the spring personality, the person with the summer, there was the autumn, there was the winter, and all of those seasons come in. For me, one of the things that is something that I really acknowledge and I'm really pleased about is that diversity within our group of different personalities, different backgrounds, you know, and we all learn from each other and challenge each other with some of our thinking. You know, it's a space of what we learn is important. What we unlearn can also be important. And within our small mentorship space, although there, you know, the 5 of us there, we offer different perspectives
Mm-hmm.
for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me is something that is like really truly unique, I feel, you know, and it's from that place that our programs have been delivered, have been created. It's from that energy which we are birthing our new projects and, you know, looking at what can we offer and how can we move forward with that. And it's also within that space that we each grow and we each unlearn and learn and offer another perspective on life. And yet what unites us all is a common passion to support each other, to support women, and also to, you know, we are all cyclical women at different stages of that cyclical journey. And, you know, some relatively early in it. You mentioned something, Sarah, about that at our last gathering around, you know, wishing you had had this wisdom. And I know you've written a beautiful piece, and we'll get that shared as well over the next few while. That just came through for you. Wishing you'd had that at a young age. Can you speak a little bit to that for us?
Well, I was an 80s baby. So, you know, my menstruation kind of happened around probably the early 90s, I would say. And maybe before. I'll be honest, I have no memory of it. I don't have any, you know, there was nothing special about it. And I think it is something to be celebrated. I remember my mother giving me a book, and that was it. There was no education, no learning. And something on my journey, now I'm 42 now. So my journey has been in the last probably 5 years that I've actually learnt about our woman as a body, or, you know, what happens, because as I said, I have 3 children. I'm very blessed that it all happened very naturally for me. There was no need to track or no need to do anything really. It just flew. And I suppose I never really needed to know about ovulation or anything. And then from that, that's grew and I've learned. So that's definitely something that I think that we need to be educating women, girls on. It's sad, actually. I think it's quite a sad thing that I didn't know. And that's why I really, really feel that so our mother and daughter retreats that we offer are so important. The Preparing for Change in the schools that we offer is so important. I never got that opportunity, and I think that's something that we need to be allowing our young girls to know so that they can plan, prepare better for their future.
And then share that wisdom. Once they have it, share that with the men around them, with their families, with other women, so that, as I said, as part of our vision, that the cyclical nature of women is acknowledged, respected, and integrated into our lives in the same way as the circadian rhythm of night and day is a schedule that we all integrate within our lives. And yeah, and you know, like that too, I mean, I'm learning so much about the power of the menstrual cycle and the different phases of the menstrual cycle and hormones and all of those things, that there's almost a certain at this stage, again, we're the same age, Sarah. So at this stage, I'm like, oh, I hope I have, you know, many more years of learning, of being able to celebrate this. And you know, I've no doubt that then we move into another phase of that journey. Again, that's, you know, that crone phase, that perimenopause, postmenopause space, and that will bring its own gifts and its own offering. But right now, I am fully immersed and thoroughly enjoying understanding myself in a different way. And I know that's something that we've chatted about before as well. So yeah, it is definitely something that, you know, as you say, our mother-daughter retreat are just such a beautiful space, because what I feel in them, what I shared at the last one actually, was the girls there will never understand the importance of a day like that day. And you know, it actually is the mummies that are there and that recognize this is different. So hopefully days like that and conversations and an acknowledgement of menstruation and a celebration of, and a space of connecting and bonding and all of that space will be the norm for that generation, so that it won't stand out as going, well, why was that a big deal? Why, when you have mummies there going, oh my God. And there's so much healing that takes place in that space. and we rewrite history. We no longer, by the very booking of attending a mother-daughter retreat day, by being there in that space, that story is no longer part of that family line. The story of menstruation's not talked about, the stigmas, the taboos, whatever. By showing up in that space, even if we don't actually have any conversations about, all of the detail, which, these days are held really gently and really softly. And that whole history, or her story, is rewritten because it allows that to now be different. It will no longer carry through that family line that we don't talk about these things.
I think it's healing for mothers as well. Definitely. It's for the mothers, from my own personal journey, me supporting my daughter has allowed me to heal also and grow.
Well, it's that space that any woman who heals herself heals 7 generations forward and 7 generations back. That beautiful Hopi Native American Indian quote or concept. So yeah, and speaking of her story, that's another project that you are involved with, Sarah, or you coordinated, founded, set up. Can you speak to us a little bit about her story?
Absolutely, yes. So I was asked to speak in a neighbouring village last January, and I share it's a space for sharing whatever comes up. And that night was so powerful that I was like, why are we not doing this in our local community? Women need tribes, we need connection, we just need to be held, like as I said, for the living and flow. So my vision I call it Bamberg Her Story, that's my local village. My vision was to bring women together and to learn from each other and listen, because we have so much wisdom, but a lot of the time I personally feel that we're in these big houses with our new baby or our children, and we get wrapped up and we're lonely. We could have everything in the world, but we could be so lonely. So I hold it once a month in my local village, and we just come along and we just have a different speaker every month, somebody from wisdom. And people will say to me, I have nothing to talk about. Every woman has a story, and I love hearing them. It blows me away, the knowledge we have, like what women have went through, the journeys they've been on. I've heard many times in that room, a pin could drop because women are just so, and then at the end we have a chance to chat and we have a tea and coffee. So it kind of is a social event, very gentle, but a lovely social event that women can come together and just learn from each other.
So her story will be continuing into 2024. And I know you're in the process of planning another lineup of speakers. And then what other plans? What are your plans for your Changing Cycles journey in 2024, Sarah? Share those with us.
Well, definitely. I mean, I want to also create that Living and Flow 9-month program. And it's going to be, as we talked about earlier on, it's going to be a space for women to come together and grow together for them 9 months. I also want to deliver programs to schools. I'm very passionate. I already do the mindfulness in the schools. For me, that's a learning curve. I love going into schools. I just get so much enjoyment out of it. So that's definitely somewhere I want to bring Changing Cycles to schools, to support parents and teachers in this new land that we're in, this new journey we're in. I also would like to do the corporate. So obviously do the corporate well-being. I love working with doing well-being workshops and all that kind of space. So I'm really excited to bring that even to our community and corporate. So yeah, let's just get that word out there and spread it to everybody and everywhere that this is normal and beautiful. And yeah.
Fantastic, Sarah. Thank you for taking the time to chat today. Thank you for listening in, whether that's through video or audio. And if you have any questions for myself or Sarah, please do get in touch with us. We'd be delighted to hear from you, and watch this space for 2024.
Yeah, thanks, Joanne. Thank you for holding my space.
Thank you, Sarah. Take care. Bye.